What's up, guys? I'm back with more Madden, a little franchise action. You can see here right at the beginning of the game. So this is week 2 of our franchise, and I'll get into what happened last week in a second. But I just want to show you quickly: Toronto Huskies 86 overall, Pittsburgh Steelers 81 overall. So this is a division matchup. Remember, I started as the Cleveland Browns, moved them to Toronto, changed their name to the Huskies. But we are playing within the division right now, so I'd like to win this game. We already lost last week against the Bengals. And frankly, it would be great to get a win this week. And we're playing against a team that is at least nominally has a lower overall than us. So hopefully we can get a win here. That's my hope. I'm not going to say expectation because I'm terrible at the game. All Madden's really difficult, but we're going to do our absolute best to try to win. Coming back to last week, we played the Cincinnati Bengals. As I mentioned, we did not win. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler for you. You can go back and watch the last video, but I'm gonna just assume that you're watching this video in a vacuum, and we played all right. I had some good moments, had some bad moments, had some good throws, bad throws. The running game was really strong, which I think was a function of sliders or lack of sliders more than my ability. But we have fixed that. We've instituted a couple sliders. We're still on all Madden here. We've made some changes though to the sliders, so I think that things are going to be hopefully a little bit more balanced, and we will see as we get into the game if that really is true or not. But that's the intent with the changes that I made to the sliders. We're going to jump right into the game here, and kind of what I'm showing you here is some of the key plays throughout the game. I'm not going to show every single snap of the game, and as the game moves on, sometimes just the flow of the game changes. I think if it's a game that comes down to the last drive and it's separated by a few points and every single play matters, then I'll show you every single play. If it's a game where I'm up 50-0, I'm probably not going to show you every play, and by the fourth quarter, I might just be showing you scoring plays. But it really just depends on the situation. As it stands, it looks like the defense is going to hold up at least decently against the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And I don't think, I mean, Kenny Pickett, I think, might turn into a great quarterback, but I think at the moment, you would hope that your defense can kind of stand strong against Kenny Pickett and hopefully prevent them from scoring a bunch. That's the hope at least. But on the flip side, I'm a bit worried that I won't be able to score on the offensive side to really score with the other guys. So I think my defense is going to be key in this game, and just hope that maybe my offense can sort of keep its head above water and keep us in the game for as long as possible. Um, it- Midway through the first quarter here, still no score. Second time that we've stopped the Steelers around midfield, give or take a little bit. But unfortunately, the offense just hasn't been able to do anything yet. You see a first down. Nick Chubb, it pops up, is 2 rushes for 6 yards. I was having a bit of trouble getting it started on the ground. I just felt like I really just couldn't get anything going, and that sort of continued throughout the game. That was tough. Got a sack. Pretty big loss of yards there, and unfortunately, third and 23 is almost guaranteed to be something that you're going to punt on unless you throw an interception or something. So I tried the trusty halfback screen that has worked quite a few times in the first game. Unfortunately, it did not work as well there. And the ball is right back to the Steelers. Hendon Hooker is my quarterback here, and his overall is something like 68. I don't know. And you saw his stats at the very beginning of this game, flashing up from the last game. And 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and those interceptions were pretty much my fault. Just lack of ability, skill issue, which is something that plagues me. I throw a lot of interceptions, and I'm trying to minimize that. I actively try to minimize that as I play these seasons, but unfortunately, just I continue to make throwing decisions that would make a quarterback coach just wince in pain. You see the Steelers get on the board there for the first time, and the momentum is going their way. They've already got 2 of those little home field advantage momentum boxes, whatever you want to call it. And this, I think, is enlightening. Look at my absolutely anemic offense: 5 passing yards, 15 rushing yards through the first quarter, and that is way less than the Steelers have managed to pick up. So we're kind of in trouble, and plays like that are not helping. That is what I call Madden BS, or all Madden BS, I should say specifically, but it is a subcategory of Madden BS. That was a pass that essentially hit my what was that, tight end, I guess? Hit my tight end in the hands, and he just drops it. And look, I get that that happens, but it feels to me like that happens a whole lot more on all Madden than it does on every other difficulty level, and than it does in real life, unfortunately. So for reasons like that and more, as you'll see throughout this video, starting with the next game, we are taking this off of all Madden. Um, and I think that's probably better suited to my skill level, but also just it's not worth it to just put up with some of the frustrating things that you deal with on all Madden. And this is something that I mentioned in the first video of this series of this franchise, and I'm sold now. And I was probably already sold at this point in the game. I mean, I think when I threw that incompletion, I remember thinking to myself, all right, I've got to take this off all Madden. This is ridiculous. Not that that doesn't happen, because it does happen, but it just feels like it happens a lot more than it should. But back to the game. The good news is it feels like we're in a really good position here. Yes, we're down 14 points, and we did just throw an interception, so we're no longer in a good position, but you have to be encouraged that the offense seemed to be moving the ball well. I had quite a few gains, quite a few big passes too, or at least decently chunk play passes, not like the best pass plays in the world, but definitely got some yardage, and I felt like I was moving the ball pretty well. So it feels like maybe we can stick in this game. And we're getting the ball first in the second half. So the hope here is that we can prevent them from scoring here, get the ball back, maybe score before halftime, get the ball back after halftime, score there, and I think we'll be sitting pretty. But on the downside, they're just absolutely rolling. Najee Harris is 11 for 57, not showing any signs of slowing down. Kenny Pickett has been tearing me up. Just looks like a Pro Bowl quarterback thus far. 19 of 25, 211 yards, and 2 TDs, which, no offense to Kenny Pickett, but man, just absolutely ripping me apart, unfortunately. And that, I will say, when I first saw that play, I thought that that was a touchdown. And we went into the play select for the next play, and I thought, okay, they've got to review that. That looked like a pretty clear touchdown to me. It looked like his toes were down, and that replay is not helpful at all. But if you look closely at this replay, yeah, that to me, his toes look down. He's got possession. I think that's a touchdown, no question. And it appears that that's all the referees needed to see as well, because we come back and 20 pops up for the Steelers score, which is a sign that they overturned it and gave the Steelers the touchdown. So I'm down 21-0, roughly a minute left in the second quarter here. Just wanted to show you this real quick. Harris's stats there, 11 for 57, as I mentioned. And we're going to hope that the Steelers don't score again before halftime, because, frankly, I think if they score again, this game is pretty much over. There is technically enough time to score 28 points in this game, but in terms of what I conceivably can do, I don't think there's any chance that I'm going to score 28 points in the second half, just given my skill issue. Unfortunately, they do get the field goal there, so it's 24-0, and it looks like going into halftime. Although, will I potentially make something happen here on the kickoff? It's a short kick to the 5. I see an open lane to the left, go around the left end, and Ford looks like he's off to the races until he gets run down by one of the Steelers, unfortunately. So, best kickoff return of the day, best kickoff return of the season, actually. But unfortunately, I just wasn't able to make it turn into anything. And again, the yards just are anemic. 88 total yards for me. Looks like about 290 for the Steelers. So we're in the hole here. I'm just in big trouble. I'm gonna focus these halftime adjustments on passing on my end, and then you see me flipping back and forth here through the short, medium, deep. I knew I wanted to defend against the pass, but I was thinking, which one would I rather defend against? And landed on the short pass just because I think that a lot of Kenny Pickett's success today has been on shorter passes that they've gotten yards after the reception. So we're going to hopefully try to minimize that a bit. That pass looked like it should have been picked if the cornerback was focusing on the play, but fortunately it was not. So we live to fight another day, another first down, and the offense feels like it might be back. I felt good coming out of halftime. I thought maybe things are going well, and then I promptly ruined it with that interception. And in hindsight, looking at that play, I could see the interception developing. I could see the linebacker directly in front of the receiver. I could see that if I threw that pass, it was going to be an interception. And I think I seem to remember when I made the pass in the game, It was one of those where you click the button, and as soon as you click the button, you think, oh no, that is certainly an interception. And it certainly was an interception. So it feels like a lot of them are like that. I mean, occasionally I'll throw a jump ball type interception where maybe it's a one-on-one deep and you just get unlucky. That was a good defensive play right there. I love that. But sometimes it's just one of those plays where you throw one deep and you get unlucky, but other times it's just a dead giveaway. The Steelers there go for an absolutely perplexing fourth down. They just didn't need to do that. I mean, personally, I probably would have kicked a field goal because they weren't even close either. You know, it's not like it was a 4th and 1 that they just fake it and get the yard. It was like 4th and 5 or something, and they got nowhere close. I think I actually got them behind the line. Speaking of a jump ball, we throw this and Peoples Jones catches it. It looks like the defender had no idea the ball was even coming, but frankly, it still counts, so I'm fine with it. But then again, the momentum is just completely destroyed as we complete a pass. Um, but he escapes the first tackle, as you'll see in the replay, and then gets hit by the second guy and the ball comes out and the momentum is just absolutely dead, and I was so fed up with the game at this point, not with Madden the game but with this specific game. I just thought this is I'm I'm just not having a good time. This is miserable. I'm getting blown out. I think I might have turned Chew clock on around this point in the game on offense. I mean, I had mentally, I had completely given up on this game, and it didn't help that the defense was just tearing me up. Or I'm sorry, that the Steelers were just tearing up my defense. Every time Kenny Pickett's stats pop up on the top of the screen here, it just looks like it's from the All Pro register at the end of the season, just based on how well he's doing, and it just continues, just huge trunk plays, taking tons of yards, taking a bunch of time, just moving the ball at will. They're quickly at a 2nd and goal here on their second run after that completion, and it looks like he's in without even being touched. So just it's been a really tough day. That's the end of the quarter. I do have more passing yards, obviously, but still being outgained something like 410 to 190, and another interception that I should have seen coming, and I'm just done with the game at this point. So 38-0 as they take the pick six back to the house. And the next time that I have the opportunity, I go down to Super Sim and sim the rest of the game. So I think that tells you that I was pretty much done. And I think right after this game, I went and turned off All Madden, turned it to All Pro, found a good slider set that I could use. And so we'll be on All Pro moving forward, and hopefully I'll be able to perform better, and we'll get some closer games, I would hope, because this one was not close, 41-7, and the 7 was only because I super simmed. Maybe it's good for my stats, right? Good for my guys, but in terms of the morale, I got to say it's never been lower in this franchise. We're only 2 games in, but I felt at least competitive against the Bengals. I did not feel competitive at all against the Steelers. I can only hope that as we 42.3 rating there for Hendon Hooker, not good at all. 55 yards for Chubb. So just tough day, but we'll come back next week and try to win.